They look that they are really big, and I think they are kind of seldom.
They're an attraction to me.
I've never seen any animals like it before.
The grey-headed flying foxes have been a big attraction since they settled down in Sydney's Royal Botanical Gardens in 1989. Today, the species is listed as vulnerable in Australia, as the number of the fruit-eating bats has decreased largely over the last couple of decades. But in the Botanical Gardens, the flock grows bigger each year. The flying foxes are not the only threatened species that inhabit the area. The garden also houses a great collection of very old and rare palms and trees in which the bats like to roost. But this hospitality is not met with gratitude. The flying foxes harm the trees and have caused the death of several rare palms, like this 150-year-old Agathis morai that was damaged after a bat colony moved in.
The trees here in the Botanic Gardens are so important because of their cultural and heritage significance. The consequences of the flying foxes roosting here is continued damage to the botanical collection. The long-term potential is that a lot more trees actually die and would have to remove them, which removes the habitat for the flying foxes.
This is a huge dilemma. The Botanical Gardens would like to disperse the bats to save the vegetation that they feed on. But animal rights groups such as Bat Advocacy and Human Society International are afraid that relocation might harm the colony of up to 22,000 flying foxes. And the tourists in the garden also differ in opinion about what should be protected, the trees or the bats.
I think that they're beautiful. I've never seen any animals like it. I've never seen bats so big, and I just think it's exciting to be able to see them just as you're walking around as a tourist.
I think the trees and the plants are the main reason that I come to the park, but the flying foxes are just an added bonus. In order to protect the trees, the park services will have to do what they need to in order to keep the gardens nice.
I'm not so much interested in trees and stuff like that, so more animal kind of stuff. In my opinion, they are more than an attraction, so I don't find them annoying at all. I think that the flying foxes should stay in the garden.
But that is probably not going to happen. The garden is trying to find a method to relocate the bats without harming the endangered species. In the summer of 2012, the Botanical Gardens expect to be able to disperse the bats by the use of loud industrial noise. A necessary step if some of the rare plants and trees in the garden should be able to survive, according to the wildlife officer.
As much as people do enjoy the flying foxes, it's not the primary reason why they do come here. So it's about having a right balance. This site isn't what we'd call a natural site. This isn't a national park. This isn't remnant vegetation that is surviving. This is a planted botanic gardens. And so the rules here are slightly different in that we're selecting to have these trees here, and we're selecting not to have the flying foxes here.
Bat Advocacy has strongly opposed the relocation of the flying foxes. They suggest that the Botanical Gardens plant an alternative roost habitat for the animals to satisfy the bats as well as the rare plants.